Hello, I'm Aifel of Lorlin. Let's talk more about Maestro and making songs for Lord of the Rings Online. So, um, let's talk about tempo. So, if you see here up at the top, there's a tempo bar. It's now at 72 BPM beats per minute at the start of the song. And then if you look closely, you'll see it goes up a bit here and then up a bit more here and down and up again. And it can vary a lot. So these tempo changes come directly from the MIDI file, and you can change them in the APC down here. And note that there's a limit, I think both an upper and a lower limit. The upper is rather high, but the lower is, I think, 10 or 5 or something like that. And that doesn't mean that you can pull the slider down to to 5. It means that, for example, for this one, if you reset it, it's 84. You'll see we start with 72, not 84, and we have 84 later. So that means for 72, it will hit the limit quicker. And the limit goes that if any part of the song is below the limit or above the limit for that sake of the tempo, then it won't play the song and won't export it. So let's try messing with it. As you can hear, it goes slower, and the song over here goes longer. Now it's 3 minutes and 25. Before it was 3 minutes and 24, 2 minutes and 41. So we can of course make it faster also. And then it's finished under 2 minutes. So that's of course a nice feature. There's some limitations to it, of course, but let's hope you don't run into that too much. And there's another limitation in Lotto, which is that notes start and begins have to happen in at least an interval of 60 milliseconds. So this means the way Maestro works is it puts everything on a grid within a tempo change. So in this section here from 72 and until it starts with 84, that's one tempo change section. And in that tempo change, it lays out a grid. And that grid is determined by, it starts with a whole note. A whole note is for, if we have 4 meter here down here, and that's if the tempo BPM also is quarter note, then its whole note is 1 bar. So it starts with 1 bar, and then it halves the 1 bar, and then it halves it and halves and halves it until it reaches 60 milliseconds or above, not below. And that's gonna be the grid that every note is gonna be laid out on. And you might think that's a big limitation of Maestro, but it's actually not as bad, especially not since this mix timings got introduced. But more about that in a later video. You just have to know there's a limit to it. So if you have a piece of music and you put it really high, then all of a sudden very fast notes can maybe no longer be played, so will maybe be deleted even, or be too long, one of the two, or the timing will not be so good because it's not so precise anymore. Maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't because it's a high tempo, but beware of such things. Another thing about this limit of 60 milliseconds is that the grid can be further reduced in fidelity if you have a MIDI which has a low PPQ, so low pulse per quarter note. and that's basically how the MIDI keeps time, and the grid has to fit on that. So if the resolution of that is not very good, which it can be with very old MIDIs sometimes if you're very unlucky, then it can be far above 60 milliseconds that you can get. You can fix that by going into a MIDI editor and change the pulses per quarter note, the PPQ of the MIDI file. Won't change the melody or anything, but it will change how easy Maestro is laying out the grid and how good it can fit the notes to the melody that the MIDI plays. Anyway, have fun with messing with tempo. That's enough for this video.